What's up, guys? It's the Cheapster here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about what it's been like working for Grubhub during the pandemic, because since I made my day in the life of a Grubhub driver video, things have changed a lot with everything going on. So I kind of wanted to cover what stuff has changed, and if you're wondering if you should drive for Grubhub during this time, I'll kind of talk about some of the pros and cons. So it really has changed quite a bit, and the thing is, throughout the time, things have just kept changing. It can be there's new things changing for the cities, there's new policies that are in place, or it's like Grubhub is just deciding that they're changing things. The CDC is changing things. Who is changing things? So it's really just been like kind of all over the place for the longest time here. But this is also just experience from my region. Things could be very different in different other parts of the country. So if you work in New York City, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of different regulations and things that you have to do for Grubhub than what I'm going to talk about. But this is just what I've seen and some of the stuff that I've noticed. So when this first started to begin, I got a lot more orders. So I was thinking, okay, you don't have all these people at the restaurants and stuff. People are going to want to order in. We're all just staying in. So it's kind of like, it could be one of those things that it's something you do that's like fun, like, oh, let's order in and get some Grubhub and make it feel a little bit better during this time that we're just stuck at home. And I think that's what people did at first. It really seemed like it was like that. The orders were big too, because it was probably families and stuff that were just stuck at home. So these were orders that were like for entire families. So it was people who were tipping well, big orders. And there was just lots of them. It seemed like I was busy all the time. Times that were kind of like dead times were now busy, and it was just pretty much nonstop, big orders. Always could find like good orders now. So it was really good at the beginning. Things were working really well. And also Grubhub added no contact deliveries and limited pickup systems. So this was actually like really great for being a Grubhub driver, because the one thing, the no contact delivery means that you would just take the food and it would usually say, I think actually they set it as a default eventually, where everyone's orders would just say drop it off at the door and then send them a text. So that saves, like, it seems like it's not that much, but knocking on the door, waiting for somebody, it can add to the minutes, and you might spend like 5 minutes, maybe even 10 if the person didn't answer, trying to track that person down to get them their order. And now that it's just leave it on their doorstep, it took away all that time waiting, and that of course helps you get more orders and do more. So that's helped a lot with that. But also the limited pickup has been huge in time saving too, because that would be something like Taco Bell is a big one. I get lots of Taco Bell orders, and when they're open, their dining room is open, you have to actually go in and get it. So that means parking the car, turning it off, getting your stuff, getting out, going in, which, it's not that big of a deal. You can do it, and it's usually fine, but it is a lot more work than just going through the drive-thru, especially if the drive-thru is just open and there's nobody even in line. But now everything was drive-thru, so not just that, but like other places where you would have to go in and pick up. Like I know City Barbecue is somewhere where I do a lot of orders. They'd have their number on the door, and it would say call the number and say what type of vehicle you're in, and they would come out with your order. So it was really cool that you were able to do these orders so much quicker, just get things a lot quicker, deliver them a lot quicker. So everything at the beginning was just more orders, bigger orders, faster orders. Like, it was making even more money than what it's made before. So I was really happy about kind of how that was going, and that, I still was keeping my job and making more money. Now there was like a side of it that kind of made the job like not as fun, because it was also like, I wasn't coming in contact with anybody anymore. So like delivering it to the person, it doesn't seem like much when you go up and you like give it to them and you like say, oh, I hope you have a good day, like all that kind of stuff, whatever. And maybe you're somebody who doesn't even like that, but I kind of like that part of it. I like seeing people and thanking the person for their order and stuff. So I missed out on that now. And then the people that you pick up the order from, you're not seeing them. So it's kind of, you get a lot less interaction. So I would say it kind of made it like less fun to work, because I was like, oh, I'm just not seeing people. So I mean, I worked like 12-hour days. Actually, I was working 15-hour days at one point. And I would go 15-hour days and just barely see anybody. So it could get a little bit lonely sometimes working it like that. But I mean, I was making more money, so I think that was it was good anyway. But also back then, it was really confusing to know what we were supposed to do with masks and gloves. And actually back then, when things were good, we weren't supposed to wear masks. We were told by, I think it was WHO or the CDC or both, that you're not supposed to wear a mask at that point. So I wasn't wearing a mask, and there was actually times where there were some restaurants that kind of weren't obeying the rules correctly in the city, and we were kind of clustered around people where it didn't really feel as safe. And I didn't know what to do about gloves too, because I was kind of thinking, okay, should you wear gloves for all the orders? And I think now we know that wearing gloves would be bad because you just cross-contaminate everything. So it was kind of confusing back then to know what you were supposed to do. But now it's kind of changed more where we do wear masks. It's actually, I don't know if I would say Grubhub requires it. They may in some areas. I don't know if they do in my area. To when you're actually going in to pick up an order, or if you're going to actually do contact delivery, so you're going to see the person. I think they definitely recommend it, and I always do it just because if there's anybody who would be worried, I think it's just better for me, for the image of Grubhub too, that I'm doing the order with my mask on. So that's what I do. I wear the mask, but of course I only just wear it when I get out and I'm going to actually see people. You don't need to wear it in your car. That's pointless. So it's not bad because I rarely have it on. And Grubhub actually sent masks, so it's been really cool that they have done free supplies and stuff. So they sent like a little bottle of like spray hand sanitizer, and then they sent a whole bunch of masks, and then it was like a card that said like some things that you could do to like help. But that brings me to now. So that was kind of the beginning with things. Now we do wear the mask, like I just said, but things have changed a lot with delivering with Grubhub, at least in my area. It's really slowed down. It's not at all like what it was, where I was getting a lot of orders and they were big orders. I am still getting big orders, but it's really slowed down and I've made less money. I don't know if that's because people have less money and they're not ordering out as much because they're trying to save money just because of everything going on, or if it's like people are afraid and they like are getting more scared to have people come deliver them food and they just want to kind of get rid of that contact. Or maybe it's people are just getting used to cooking at home. And they just aren't thinking about eating out as much because they're at home. So they're just maybe taking up cooking and stuff. I think probably the biggest part for people is that they're probably going out now to get their food because they're, stuck at home. So one of the things you can do is actually go pick up your to-go food. You don't have or you have plenty of time to do this. But I really didn't expect to make less. It was strange to me when I started making less and there was less orders, because I really thought during this time it was going to be just always more orders. I thought I would always be doing a ton of work and it would just be kind of crazy and slammed all the time, but that hasn't been the case. And my region now, it closes at 11 p.m. That was one of the biggest changes I think that has changed with Grubhub, especially for me, because I really like to work that 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. slot. I'm a night owl, so I liked working that because there was no traffic. You could drive through the drive-thru pretty much at every place. I guess they're doing that for a reason because it helps, but I don't fully understand that because Taco Bell and some of these other places are still open. So I don't know why they're even closing it down when they could still be taking orders. And it's just more money for them, more money for Taco Bell. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure why they did that. I hope that they change that soon and it comes back. But orders are still big right now, but they're kind of weird. Things are like, they make less sense than they used to. So it used to be like, okay, these are the peak times that people would order, and then these are like the slow times. Now that stuff is just thrown out the window. I feel like you have no idea. Like I've gone through dinner shifts where I actually have a shift and barely get any orders. And then like as soon as like the dinner time would be over and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get many orders, I get tons of orders, like from 7 to 9 or something. And it's like really strange. So everything's just kind of been thrown out the window. I don't know what's exactly going on, but there has been less traffic. So that's been really good. I'd say in the end, yeah, some things have changed during this time, but I think it's still a pretty good job to work. You might not expect to make like what you've seen in my day in the life video. It might not be exactly as much as that because I do think it's less right now at this point. But if you've lost a job and you're looking for work, I mean, try it out because you can do this and at least start making work. And the good thing about Grubhub is you get to set your own hours. You work when you want. So, I mean, I think you can work up to like 20 hours a day or something. So, I mean, if you needed money quickly, like Grubhub could be good because you could just turn your shift on or turn yourself on to open to work like for that whole time and then just try to take as many orders as you can to be able to make money. And it's still the same job at the end of the day. Grubhub hasn't really changed what you're doing. Just some of these little things have changed, but really Grubhub's still pretty much the same job. I would say it's just really me doing the same things I was doing. There are those precautions and stuff that you're taking that probably keep you somewhat safe. Probably the most risk is the fact that you're touching things a lot. You're touching handles, you're touching food containers. Sometimes it might even be a case where you're like trying to grab it and you accidentally touch someone's hand. Like, I try not to do that, but sometimes it just happens, like when you're dealing with so many things. So I guess it's just about, washing your hands, sanitizing your hands a lot, trying to cut down as much as you can on the spread and keeping yourself healthy. But overall, I would say you're pretty safe working it. There's not so much, but you are coming in contact with a lot of people, so trying to distance and all those kind of things. Yeah, just try to do your best to stay safe, and not just for yourself, but for other people, because you're going to be coming in contact with other people. So if you got sick, then think of all the people that you could have got sick from you getting sick. Also, another thing is Grubhub said that they will actually pay. I think they said that they will pay somewhat for your medical bills if you have it. They'll pay for like that portion of it, and then they'll also pay you something if you have to be off work for it. I don't know a ton about it, but I do know that they said that they would do stuff for it. So if you are one of those people who are working it and you get it, you can talk to Grubhub and see what they can offer. So it's nice that they're doing that, because they really don't have to. It's not required of them, but it's just an extra thing that they're trying to provide for their workers. So I'm happy that they're doing that. And the last thing I've got to say is that it might actually be hard right now for you to sign up. I would imagine that there's a lot of people who've lost their job. There's a lot of people filing for unemployment, looking for work. So it may be just kind of bogged down. You would never know though until you try. So if you lost your job, go ahead and try and just see if you can get signed up for it. But I wouldn't be surprised if the wait times are longer and it's harder to get a job, just because there's probably a lot more people trying to do it. But it's always worth trying. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope this was beneficial and helpful to you guys to know kind of what it's been like working as a Grubhub driver lately. Again, I don't think it's like really changed a ton. It's just kind of more you're at risk. But thank you, and if you liked the video, go ahead and do the cheapest thing you can today, and that is to tap the like button. Also subscribe to my channel. I do videos every week, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So if you want to comment down below if you work for Grubhub or you're thinking about working for Grubhub, I'd like to hear how this all affected you guys and see if different areas have been affected differently. It would just be great to hear. So thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, stay cheap and stay safe.
That's cheap. You still haven't subscribed? Oh my god, come on. What are you waiting for?